Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to do a review and demo on the new collaboration with Kathleen and ColourPop. It is the Dream Street palette. This is an eyeshadow palette. And then the 3 new lip products that she came out with. They are 2 Ultra Satin lips and 1 Ultra Glossy lip. I have the Ultra Satin lip in the shade Rêve on my lips right now. I think it's so pretty. And then this is the eye look that I did using the palette. If you'd like to see how I got this look using this palette and my reviews on the palette, then please keep watching. So before I get started, I just wanted to show you guys my shirt because I think it's cool. So I don't know, I'll have to lift it up so you can see. So this is Mike, Lucas, and Dustin from Stranger Things. Stranger Things. I love the show Stranger Things. I just actually started watching it, I think November or December. I don't know, I binge watched it. I hadn't watched it before then. I watched season 1 and season 2 back to back. I just binge watched it over like a week or 2. Yeah, it was so good. I love it. If you haven't watched the show Stranger Things, I would definitely recommend it. It's so good. So yeah, I got this shirt from my mom for Christmas and I love it. I think it's so cute. I love getting these types of shirts that are like for my favorite shows or movies. Like I have a Game of Thrones shirt. I want to get more Game of Thrones shirts because I love Game of Thrones. That's my all-time favorite show. And I have like some Harry Potter tops. So anyway, I love this shirt. I think it's so cute. I will link it down below if I can find it because I think it's from Nordstrom, but I could be wrong. So if I find it, I will link it down below in case you're interested. But they also sell Stranger Things tops at Target. I saw them online on Target's website. So if you're interested, that's another option. Maybe I'll just link that too in case you're interested. But yeah, just want to show that before I get started. So let's move on to the makeup. So just a little disclaimer right now before I get started. I just want to say that yes, my highlight is very bold today. And it's because I just tried out this Ofra highlight in the shade Glazed Donut. It is the Nikki Tutorials collaboration. And this is a very, very bold highlight. And it's very light. I swatched it on my hand and it looked pretty swatched. I didn't realize how pigmented it was going to look on the cheeks. So I tried to like kind of diffuse it and blend it out a bit. But yeah, if you can see, my highlight is very bold today. But just wanted to let you know that's why. So next time when I use this, I'm going to definitely use a light hand with it. And also, if you notice my bronzer on my cheeks, like here and here, and then maybe on my forehead as well, it kind of looks a bit patchy and not blended too much. There's a little bit of like right here, you might see some little spots where it looks like it's like darker. And I don't know what happened today because I used my all-time favorite, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer right here. And I normally really like this and I haven't had any problems with this in the past. So I'm thinking my skin might just have some dry patches underneath but it doesn't really feel dry. Maybe it's a little bit dry, I don't know. Or it could just be a combination of the primer and moisturizer I used today and foundation. I don't really know, but this doesn't usually happen. So just wanted to throw that out there in case you guys like are commenting your bronzer looks patchy. I know. I had a bit of a struggle today. So I tried to blend it out the best I could, but that's what happened. First off, let's look at the palette. I typically really like ColourPop products, so I was really excited to try this, especially because I've never tried their pressed shadows before. I've used their Super Shock shadows, which are more of like a creamy powder formula, if you know what I mean. But I've never used their pressed powder shadows, and I was very impressed by these. And I think the colors are so pretty. You get some really pretty neutrals, some pops of color with the blue and teal, and then a really pretty kind of like bright reddish orange. And then there's this really pretty like silvery blue duochrome shade. So it basically has everything you need for a complete eye look. The only thing is that this shade down here is a bit too pinkish / dark for me to use as a brow bone highlight or to use as an all over shade to kind of set my concealer or primer down. But if you have darker skin than me, it could possibly work for you. That's the only thing, but I mean, I have a ton of palettes that have that shade, like a bone white shade or like a cream shade, ivory shade that you can use as an all over base for your eyes. So it's not a big deal. So first off, let's get into swatches. Okay, and now let's move on to the eyes. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. Okay, so first off, I already primed my eyes with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This one is in the shade Eden. I did not set it down yet with a powder though, because with the shimmery shades or metallic shades in this palette, I want them to really stick to my lid. I will use my transition shade in the crease and then put down a shadow on my brow bone just so that you don't get like the darker shades sticking to those areas. That's what I've been doing lately. I don't set my entire eye with a base color. I just set like my brow bone and then I do my transition shade. So since this is a Kathleen Lights video, I'm going to go into the Morphe and Kathleen Lights palette just for that base shade to put on my brow bone. And it's this kind of like ivory bone shade right here. As you can see, I use it a ton. This is one of my favorite shades just to use in this area because it just sets down any primer, or if you use concealer, it'll set down your concealer so that the darker shadows blend better and don't stick where you don't want them. And then I put some in the inner corner too because I don't want that to pick up that dark shade. Now I'm going to go into these matte shades up here. They are called Shooting Star and Magical. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth between these two shades and add them to my crease as a transition shade, starting with the lighter one. One thing about this palette, if you're not familiar with ColourPop pressed powder shadows, they are pretty like powdery. They have some kick up. But if you just are gentle with your brush and just like tap it into the pan very lightly, you shouldn't have any issues. Just try not to be too like rough with it. But it's not anything like terrible. I'd rather have them be soft and powdery and have good pigmentation and blendability versus to be too packed in there and then you can't even get it out of the pan, you know. And these shadows blend so nicely. They have really good pigmentation, but they blend so easily. They don't look patchy and they don't kind of like stick. They're very easy to blend, so I'm very happy with them. Now I'm going in with that darker shade. It's kind of like a taupe color, and I'm just adding this to the crease as well, just to kind of deepen up that transition just a little bit more. And I bring up my transition shade pretty high. If you watch my videos, you probably already know that, but if you are new to my channel, I bring my transition shade pretty high, very close to my brow bone, just because if you look at my eye, my whole eye shape, eye structure, I have a lot of space between like my lash line and my brows. So if I bring the transition shade up higher, it kind of just gives me more space to work with on my whole eye, rather than if I only kept it down here right in my crease, there would be all this blank space that would just be like the color of my foundation, and in my opinion doesn't look that good on me. So that's just based off of what has worked for me in my own experience, kind of trial and error, but that just depends on your eye shape. So do it however it works for you. And I love these two shades. They're so pretty for transition shades. I mean, you could even use these just as a very basic everyday look if you just basically put this all over your lid and then deepened it a little bit in the crease. There's just so much you can do with it, but I think it looks so nice for a transition. Okay, next I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's called Twinkle, and I'm gonna use this new ColourPop brush I got for Christmas. It is not labeled. I don't know. They don't put the name or number of the brush on here, but I think it is one of their kind of like flat shading. I mean, I could tell what it looks like. It's a flat shading brush, but it's very small. I think it's the small flat shading brush. I can't remember what it's called exactly. I'm just going to go into that shade, and I'm gonna first put it on without any setting spray just to see how it applies, but I might add some setting spray. Yeah, I'm gonna use some setting spray just to intensify the color. Now that I have that shade packed all over my lid, I'm gonna go into this shade over here. It is called Spark. It's a really pretty like reddish orange shade, and I'm using another ColourPop brush. This one is a small tapered brush, and I'm just going to add this to my crease, but like right in the crease because I don't want to bring this color out too much. Go into the shade here called Potion and just add that to the crease as well, just to kind of blend that pinkish in so that everything looks nice and blended. Okay, that's it for the lid. For the lower lash line, I'm going to take these two shades in Potion and Spark and just add those to the lower lash line. And actually, I changed my mind. I'm not going to use the shade Spark because I don't want my lower lash line to look too red. So I'm just using the shade Potion, the brownish, like burnt orange shade. And just running this on my lower lash line just to smoke it out. And then I'll take a little bit of the lighter shade Magical, the one I used earlier, in the crease and just run that underneath it just so it looks nice and blended. Now for the inner corner, I'm going to take this shade. It's called Kaleidoscope, and I'm just going to add this right to the inner corner. Okay, so now that eyeshadow is done, I'm just going to zoom back out and put on some eyeliner mascara real quick, and I'll be right back. So this is the completed eye look, and I'm very happy with how everything blended out and turned out. I think it looks so nice on the eyes, and it just blended very nicely. It has very good pigmentation. It definitely feels like a high-end shadow. It does not feel like it was only... I believe that this palette was under $20. I think it was like around $18, something like that, which is a pretty good deal considering that you get 12 shades in here and they're very good quality. So I think that it's really, really nice, and I would definitely recommend this. You could do so many different looks with this palette. You could really do some easy neutral looks with this, but you could also go for more of the bold looks using the reddish shade and then the teal, two teal shades, the shimmery and matte one. You could just do so much with this palette. The only thing that I kind of dislike a bit, like just a little bit, it's not a big deal though, is that these two shades, the two shimmer shades up here called Stardust and Twinkle, are very similar. If you swatch them, which I showed you in the swatches, they don't look exactly the same, but on the lid and like when you look on your eyes, they basically, you're not going to notice too much of a difference because once it's blended out with whatever look you're doing, there's not too much of a difference. So I kind of wish that they did a different shade rather than two that are so similar, and they're both shimmer shades, so I don't know. That's just me, but overall I really, really like this palette and I would definitely recommend it. That's it for this palette. Definitely give it an A+. I love it and I'm very happy with it. So if you haven't tried this, I would definitely recommend that you try it. Oh, and it is cruelty-free and made in the USA. So moving on, let's talk about the lip products. So these are the 3 lips that she came out with this collection. There are 2 ultra satin lips and 1 ultra glossy lip. So if you're not familiar with ColourPop, which again, I'm assuming you are if you are watching this video because you probably already watched Kathleen or something like that, or ColourPop, I don't know. So these 2 are the Ultra Satin lips. The Ultra Satin lip is basically a liquid lipstick formula, but it's not matte, so it just gives you a satin finish, and it's very comfortable to wear. It's not drying. It doesn't feel like it's sucking all the life out of your lips, so these are the 2. And we have the shade Heve, which is this beautiful, bright orangish red. I think this is so pretty. Like, I don't have any orange shades like this, so I was really excited when I saw it. And then the other satin lip is in the shade Dreamy, which is this one. It's a really pretty kind of like a nudie rose, almost like a mauve. Not really a mauve, more of like a nude rose. Very pretty. And then the ultra glossy lip is in the shade Moonchild, and it's a very pale nude. I'm going to try these on my lips so you guys see what they look like. Let's zoom in a bit. Just because it's easier to start out like this, I'm going to start off with the gloss. Does actually have pretty good pigmentation even though it's a gloss. So if you compare it to the tube, I think it looks pretty similar to the tube. Of course it's not going to look exactly the same because my natural lip pigmentation comes through a bit, but if you really want it to be super nude, you could always layer this over a nude lip liner or a nude lipstick, you know, whatever you want to do. But this is just the lip gloss on its own. The gloss is very comfortable. It does not feel too sticky, and I just like the pigmentation of it. I think it looks really nice, and this is like the perfect gloss for me. I don't wear lip glosses that often just because I typically prefer lipsticks, anything that is more satin or matte, because I hate it when my hair gets stuck on my lips when I'm wearing lip gloss. It just drives me crazy. It's one of my little pet peeves. But if it's really dry outside like it is right now with the cold weather, then I like more of a, you know, moisturizing formula. Not that this is exactly moisturizing, but it's definitely more like hydrating than a matte lipstick that's going to dry down and be matte, you know. I do like this for this time of year, and if I'm going to be inside where the wind isn't going to be blowing my hair into my face, then it's okay. I'm not going to have that issue where my hair sticks to my lips. Anyway, besides that, I think that this is the perfect color for a gloss. You could wear this with so many different looks. So yeah, I really like this. Okay, this is the next shade. This is the Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Dreamy. I think this color is really pretty as well, and it does look pretty true to the shade that you see in the tube. This shade, the more I look at it, it definitely has more of a like peachy coral, but like a muted coral look to it, rather than like a true rosy nude shade. But I think it's really pretty, and I don't have that many shades like this. This does remind me a little bit of the shade November that Kathleen Lights came out with, but yeah, November is definitely more pink. This is November, and this is the Dreamy shade. So November is definitely more pink, whereas this one is more like peachy brownish nude. So they are definitely different. It just, when I saw it, it kind of reminded me of that. It's starting to dry down, so it does kind of look like satin slash matte, but it's not a true matte where it dries down and is transfer proof. I think the shade's so pretty, and you could definitely wear this with a ton of different looks. So yeah, this is Dreamy. Okay, and then this is the last shade called Rêve. This is one of my favorites. I don't know, I like all the shades in this collection, but the shade is so different. I don't have anything like this where it's like bright orange, but it's not like too orange. It has a little bit of red to it, if you know what I mean. Again, I think it looks pretty true to color like it does in the tube, and it has really good pigmentation. It's not patchy or anything. It's really easy to apply to my lips. Even though this is a very bright, bold shade, I don't feel like I made that many mistakes, so their applicator works really well. I actually really like this shade. I think I'll keep this one on because I think it looks really nice with that crease shade that's in my eye, you know, because that was like a pinkish orangish. I think it kind of brings out the pinkish orange in my eye look. So I think I'm going to keep this lip color on. So that is everything from the new Kathleen Lights collaboration with ColourPop, the Dream Street palette, and then the 3 lip products. And I have to say I like everything. I don't have really many complaints or any complaints other than the one thing that I mentioned before in the palette that has 2 of almost the same shade. But that's okay, it's not a big deal. Just these 2 are very similar. But other than that, I love the palette. I love the lip products. I think they all are very good quality and they're very affordable. The lip products are $6 each. So if you think about that compared to other high-end brands, then that's a pretty good deal, because other high-end brands are like $18 to $20 minimum usually. They go up even higher if they're like luxury. So this is pretty good because you could get basically 3 of these for the price of 1 high-end lip product. So anyway, I really like all these products. Thank you, Kathleen, for creating such a great collaboration with ColourPop. I think you did a really great job, and this is definitely a very, very good collaboration. I'm really excited to continue playing around with the palette and do some more eye looks like I said. Let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing some more eye looks using the palette. Like I said before, I want to do a bold kind of like bluish teal look, but let me know what you want to see. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. You can also let me know down in the comments if you've tried this palette or any of the lip products and what you think about them. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!